Ladies and gentlemen, Gamertime Shows podcast back in action. My name is Matt. That guy right over there, Mr. Big Al Moshes. How we doing, brother?
I'm well, Maddie. I am Big Al. According to the hat, that's what it says. And it's 11:30 out here on the East Coast. For you people listening on the West Coast, it's about 8:30. So glad you're still hanging around with us, and we're ready to go.
Yes, sir. It has been quite the interesting Saturday. We had college football. Obviously, it's fall time right now. Football season is in full effect, I believe. Penn State, the local team here, got a nice win over Rutgers, which is expected. I mean, it better happen. You know what I mean? So they haven't gotten off to a very good start, though. They lost their first 5 games out of an 8-game season. So they won their last 2 games, and hopefully they'll finish strong on a 3-game win streak and take that into next season. But it has been it's been, I don't know if you follow the MAC conference. They like to call that Maction because of all the scoring and the offense. It's a lot of fun, but I was watching a few highlights right before I left the house earlier today, and they had a few Maction highlights, and each score, no matter the team, the losers in like 4 different games had over 40 points, and so it was like 90 to 100 points in each contest. It was crazy, and
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So, how was your Saturday? You said you were watching football all day. Is that right?
basically, and usually I don't work on Saturdays, so that's it when it's football season. That's what I'm doing: junk food, football, and whatever else. I started out the day with tennis today, so I need to get my exercise in.
Okay. All right. Cool. What games did you watch?
I started with Ohio State and at noon, which they demolished Michigan State, and 3:30 I watched some of the Tennessee Florida game, and then during the evening, um, in the middle of that I played some uh the new golf game for PlayStation I got, but I which I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
But then Alabama LSU thought it was going to be good. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Same thing with Clemson Virginia Tech. Thought it was going to be good. Wasn't. So it's just watching blowouts right now.
Okay. Um. Yeah. Let's dive into some games. I mean, we usually keep that towards the end of the podcast, but I feel like we've got some good in-depth analysis to get to as far as the games part of this. So let's jump right into it. Your newest purchase, PGA 2K21, correct? How is that going for you?
Yeah. Great. I created my own player and uh, it looks pretty well like me. And I decked myself out in all purple, and then I had a red Callaway hat. But that's for the first 3 rounds. I wear the same thing for the first 3 rounds until I get to the fourth round, which is Sunday Alex Mocius.
Sunday, Alex. Oh God.
Yes. That means move over, Tiger. I'm wearing the red and black this time.
Okay. All right.
So, we might see each other on the course, but I'm the real star in this. I won my fourth straight tournament, so I want to compete with the world here. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Have you um have you won any tournaments yet?
Yeah, I the first 4 that I played on the schedule, I have won, and I'm about to go into the fourth round in this next tournament. And I do like some of the features that they have, even though I took them off since it kind of slowed the game down. They give you like highlights, just like in real golf. They give you like highlights of different players' shots and stuff.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
So I do like the feature. It's just I turn them off only because it just they after every shot that you take, and they just go to somebody else, and I'm like, well, this is a waste of my time. But
Mm.
I do like the feature, and I am working on building a golf course, which you're also able to build golf courses in that game. I've seen some really crazy ones, so
Yeah.
plan on making it myself. Can't wait.
Nice. Yeah. I haven't. Well, I can't say. Okay, so the last PGA game that I played was the Rory McIlroy game.
Right.
That was a decent game. I love the graphics were pretty good for last gen. Now that PlayStation 5 and Xbox is out, so PlayStation 4 would be what I'm talking about, and that was decent graphics. I actually enjoyed that game a lot, but I got back into playing Tiger PGA. What was it? 2011 or yeah, I think it was 2011, I believe, on PC, and that's I'm just syncing up the controller and just using a regular PlayStation controller, so it's a lot of fun, but yeah, it's definitely brings back some memories, so it's
That's
pretty cool.
good. That's good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get back into some NFL here. Um, last last week, we made a few predictions, and
Yes.
specifically for the Thanksgiving slate of football.
Yeah.
Did we make a prediction for the postponed Steelers Ravens, or we?
We we avoided that. We talked about the game, but we
Okay,
avoided the
okay.
prediction.
Um, so we did make picks for the Redskins game and the I'm sorry, was it the Redskins? For the Detroit Lions game and the Dallas Cowboys
Yeah.
game.
Right.
Uh, yeah. So, how did your picks turn out, Big Al?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I took a turn for the worst on this one. I went 0 for 2, which I don't know how, but it's just hey, even the best are wrong sometimes. So I I better not make too many more picks on the air, but no, I'll keep going with them. I had confidence in those picks, but it just didn't pan out. So I'll try it again.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Let's. How about? So I believe last season, if anybody paid attention to the Gamertime shows podcast, we'd like to take the whole podcast and kind of just made all the picks of that week. We did them most weeks. We didn't do them every week, but instead of that for this time around, why don't we just take like one or two picks that we feel real confident about? I don't know what your slate is. I've got one that I'm not happy to make, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. So, can you think of any surefire picks that you like this week?
Um, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Miami over Cincinnati.
Okay. You really? Wow. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's is Tua playing?
He's questionable, and I think even if you have Fitzmagic or Tua out there, um, I do believe either way, they're going to play pretty well against the Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow.
Okay. Yeah, my surefire pick is actually against my team, the Kansas City Chiefs against the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football. Um, it's gonna get. It's not good because Kansas City has had the Broncos number for the last 3 to 4 years. Patrick Mahomes, um, and this time around, well, for this matchup, the Broncos aren't at full strength. One, being the health, it wasn't good to start the season. We never got completely healthy. But two, with the COVID issues from last week, we still might have lingering problems with who knows how many guys are going to be able to suit up tomorrow. So I
Yeah.
just you just don't know. So everything is up in the air, and that's kind of how it's been going all year for every team. I mean, if you take a look at um, if you take a look at college football slates for the those week matchups or whatever, you can almost get like half of the games saying they say postponed or canceled or something like that. It's like we have been getting we've been getting robbed. Plain and simple. They've been stealing our football. Um, we've pretty much been getting half the amount of football that we should be getting, and it sucks. We just saw it with the Thanksgiving night game being pushed back twice, no,
Yeah,
3 times,
3 times.
from Thursday to Sunday, Sunday to Tuesday, and then Tuesday to Wednesday. So it was, yeah, the first ever Wednesday afternoon football game. That was weird. So it's been a real struggle as a sports fan. Don't get me wrong. I want people to be healthy. This is tongue in cheek here, but it's been sucky to see all this postponement and all these cancellations and all this crap. So um, yeah, it just sucks. But anyway, let's move on from there. Um, I've got,
Matt,
yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, I have a two-part question
Mhm.
about your our lock picks.
Okay.
Kansas City and Denver, obviously rivals, but or you can throw some other games in there. Um, but my question to you, actually, it's not really a two-part. It's actually just this question. This question came up to me last week, and I was kind of heated about it. So I want your take.
Yeah.
Matthew, is there such thing as easy games in the NFL?
Okay. So
Answer
do you want me?
answer one.
Do you want? Do you want me to answer this question as if I don't know our prior conversation, or would you like me to answer this question with the knowledge that I have? Because if you want to do this, if you want to enact this all over again on the way that you want to story tell this whole thing, that's fine. I'll play along. So here's how I'll play along. You just asked me the question, do I believe there are any easy matchups, right?
Correct.
My answer is yes. I do believe there are easy matchups. Now, do I think that there are upsets? Of course. There's upsets all the time. So I think that you can have a team who is heavily favored, and they you don't know until you play the game, right? You don't know what can happen until you get on the field and play the game. Now, I'm pretty sure history wise and stats wise that the favorite is the favorite for a reason. And when you have those monumental lopsided matchups,
Hmm.
i.e., oh man, what year was that? 2000 and I want to say like 2014, 2013 or 14, the Peyton Manning led Denver Broncos team were like one of the top teams in football, and maybe one loss, two loss halfway through the year, something like that. And they were going up against one of the worst teams in football that year, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were, I believe, the only reason I remember this is because of the betting line. Um, the Broncos were obviously favored by like 30 points or something like that. And so everybody was able to bet on the Jaguars because what are the odds that the Broncos win by more than 30? You know what I mean? So
Right.
people were saying, okay, Jaguars aren't going to win this game, but I don't think that they're going to lose as bad as that. So that's why I remember that game. But yes, I'm sorry. There are teams that are just monumentally better than other teams. Now, don't get me wrong. Every person in the NFL is skilled. They are professionals, and they do go out in the field and play great at times. But when you have a team like the New York Jets going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm sorry. The Kansas City Chiefs are heavily favored for a reason. That is an easy game for them. I'm not telling you that the Jets can't come out and shock the world. That's a possibility. It is. That's why you play the games. But am I going to bet on that? No. Like, come on. Like, it's the Kansas City Chiefs would win that game at least 9 times out of 10. So if not 10 out of 10. So it's just this is how the world works. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I from what the argument also was leading into was, do I think that a Adam Gase type coach is at the same level as Andy Reid? And I completely agree that they're not. They're not at the same level.
Right.
But Matt, to fully rekindle your knowledge of football,
Yeah.
there is no easy game in the NFL because, as you pointed out, they are number one, they are professionals.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why these guys are that good. Yeah, the backups are not as skilled, that's why they're backups, but they're still professionals. And
Right.
point number two that you mentioned is you have to play the game to win. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time there was a forfeit because they were too scared to play the other team?
Well, that's a different question. It doesn't. That doesn't. That doesn't partake in this conversation. There aren't forfeits. That's not the reason why these guys are in the NFL. They don't forfeit. That's if somebody would ever get to the point where they have an opponent where they feared so much that they wanted to quit, they don't belong in the NFL. That's not how the world. That's not how this football league works. I'm sorry.
Correct. But I just wanted to make that point clear
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sorry. It's just that's that's why they go out and play. And I hate to bring up your Broncos last week, but they were in a situation where they were only down 17 points at halftime, and you know would they come back and beat the Saints? Okay, most people would say not, but that's why I wanted to watch the rest of the game because they could. There's always an opportunity for, as you said, an upset.
Yeah.
That's why I don't believe that there's just this, oh, oh, my someone's team is going to make the playoffs because the next four games are easy. No, you got to show up and make the plays.
Mm-hmm.
You can be coached great, you can be coached bad, but it just you got to show up and make the plays. That's where I'm coming from with the whole easy game is, hey, these guys are professionals, they do it, and you just got to go out and play and see what happens.
So I don't think we have all the time in the world to talk about this, but I want to bring up another point here is that this always leads me to the conversation of the worst team in the NFL going up against the national champion in college football. Can the undefeated Alabama Crimson Tide beat the 0-16 New York Jets or Cleveland Browns or whatever, the stinky team of the year is? You know, can they do that? I'm sorry, to me, not a chance. They can't. It wouldn't be close because there are different levels to this. They are professionals for a reason. Now there's an asterisk behind that. I want to say that, and I'll get to that too. Is that my original point here is that there's a reason these guys are in the NFL, and it's just a different learning curve. They're bigger, faster, stronger, all the above. Now, I can actually go against what I just said because I feel that there are different tactics to becoming that 0-16 Jets, Browns, whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
a team who just ran into some bad luck or injuries or something like that and becoming 2-14 or something like that. I think that this year's the 2020 New York Jets are constructed to a point where they are borderline professionals. I do not think that these guys are clear cut. They belong in the NFL. I don't. I've never seen this team is bad. This team is really bad, and I'm not saying that because they've had bad matchups, they've had injury issues, they've had whatever problems. I think that upper management made decisions to pick certain picks in the draft, or certain coaching hires or any trainers, whatever the reason is. I think some of those decisions are wrong decisions. I think there are people on this Jets team that do not belong in the NFL, let alone the Jets. I, I, I think that there are levels to this. And this is the first time where I ever thought, I don't know if Alabama could beat the Jets. I don't know. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm
Right.
saying is that the Jets are a different kind of low that I've ever seen. I like it's bad.
Mhm.
They've put up points too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that they've had a couple 20, 30 point games and hung in there
Right.
at times, but I just sometimes I see these highlights and sometimes I'll watch the game or whatever it is and you know, I get kind of amazed at how borderline professional they are. So, I don't know what kind of argument you made about the Adam Gase and Andy Reid thing, but yeah, that's not even close for me, dude. I mean, Andy Reid has been in it for 20, 30, how long? 30 years now? 40 years? I don't know.
For
And
a
he's,
while.
yeah, a long time. Been successful for many years, and Gase is just starting. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
Uh,
he's not there yet.
right. I agree, Matt. To answer real quickly, I couldn't say either, honestly, whether they would compete with them. I just think, could you throw in the possibility that some of the guys in the professionals are, yes, they're professionals, but they're older guys, and these college kids could be possibly younger and quicker. You might have some of those guys that can do that, but I really don't know.
Yeah. Um, I, I'm not complete. I'm not completely diminishing the thought of a huge upset. I think that's part of sports, no matter the league, no matter the profession, no matter what it is. I think that's part of sports and it can happen at any time. So I'm not
Right.
saying it can't happen. I'm just saying that the deficit is the deficit can be pretty deep sometimes. So to answer your question, I think I'm a little bit more borderline. Um,
Yeah.
I think I see both sides of the argument. So
Perfect.
yeah. Okay. So how do you feel? What have we hit on? We hit on video games, college football, NFL. Oh, I got a good one. Oh, it's so good. Okay. Um, the defending champion, NBA champion, Los
Yeah.
Angeles Lakers, have, in my opinion, did we talk about this last week? I feel like we hit on this, but I just wanted to
Maybe.
say that the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers got better. They made some pretty good moves in the offseason, the very short offseason.
Mhm.
And they they threw on another 2 years to the back end of Mr. LeBron James's contract, and they signed Anthony Davis to 5 more years. So you've got LeBron and AD for the next 4 at least years, and we got better and younger in the supporting cast.
Mhm.
I'm so excited.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah, it's great. Um, I believe we hit on your Sixers making some nice moves so far in the offseason. Um, how do you feel? By the way, we are 3.5, 4 weeks away from the season starting.
Yeah.
Um, how do you feel about some of the predictions? Let's go there. Let's give us some quick predictions for the upcoming NBA season. Do you got any hot takes as far as who's gonna fin? How about this? Who's gonna finish first in the East?
Matt, I read a lot of articles since we're podcast partners, and I do my homework a little bit. So,
Ah,
um, I know a lot of people want to go back to the Milwaukee Bucks because of Giannis and some of the talent that they brought in, but I'm gonna stick with my pick from last year and go with the Boston Celtics.
okay.
I
Boston.
um
Hmm.
Yeah, I know they. I just think that they're a team completely on the rise from where they used to be, and Miami is definitely up in there since they were competing against your Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
But I just I really don't, and maybe the Sixers might join that eventually, but I just between those couple teams, I just got to stick with Boston for now for in the East.
Okay. How about the West?
Well, the West, if I can't say, I feel like I can't say Houston anymore.
No, no.
I mean, at least to even to compete with you, like, or I'll try to make a prediction where at least the number one team that can compete with you, because I feel like you're just gonna make another run.
Okay.
But um, I can't say the Pelicans quite yet, even though I love all the talent they have.
Uh-huh.
That was a sketchy pick for me a year or so ago.
Okay.
Um, but and Golden State, they're
Yeah.
up and down, especially with Clay.
I would like that pick if Clay was healthy. If he didn't get re-injured, I feel like that would have been a good pick to threat for a threat to the Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah, I would consider that. I man, I don't know. I could go Denver.
Yeah.
I can go Dallas. I can, I trying to remember all the teams in the West.
How about Phoenix with Chris Paul?
Okay, I mean, they definitely were better last year, and I think they're a team on the rise as well.
Right.
So, yeah, I maybe okay, just for the fun of LA teams, I'll say the Clippers
Yeah.
are your biggest competitor.
Yeah, there's some big time matchups to start the season, to start the preseason, and uh, yeah. I don't. It's not Christmas because LA plays Dallas on Christmas, but they start the preseason against the Clippers and they start the regular season against the Clippers. So,
Well,
and they started the bubble against the Clippers and they started the regular season last year against the Clippers. So it's just been a whole lot of Lakers Clippers.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right, folks. So there you go. We hit on a bunch of different leagues there for 27 minutes and counting. Um, so we I'm still working on some of this, the look of the podcast. I'm not 100% satisfied with what we have, but I'm going to keep working and make sure I find the perfect thing. So stay tuned. If you've been following on Twitter, you'll notice that we changed the logo a little bit, and once again, I like it. It's a nice, clean, sophisticated look. I think. We'll see if it makes the cuts, as so to speak. So we'll see. If you like any of it, please comment, subscribe, like, email, all that crap. Tweet, retweet, all that stuff. Just throw some love our way, and I appreciate everybody for listening. So, Big Al.
Inter- Interrupt our phone call. Interrupt our podcast just to make a phone call to make a prediction on this show. Please do anything. We
Yeah,
just get
that would
anything.
be cool. Um, and hey, any love to kind of do this live? I mean, that would be cool. We can always stream on Twitch or YouTube or something. So that would be cool. We could have a chat section right over on this side. That would be cool. um,
Sure.
so yeah, a chat room for people to make comments while we talk. That would be cool. So
I would like man. I would actually try to like a feature of like having uh kind of like we had guests before, but just like during the call, they don't even have to be here. Just kind of on the over the phone, we can all chime in together.
there's a. I've also heard of a couple of different podcasts doing something of like a voicemail thing, where people would call and leave voice questions and we could play them over the air, and then we can answer them, things like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just like a mailbox thing, but with actual audio. So
Okay.
that would be interesting. But yeah, we'll see, everybody. Stay tuned. More changes to come, I can tell you that much. So, peace out, everybody. Big Al?
Thank you guys. Just continue to stay with us and just enjoy the sports as whatever we can watch throughout these next couple months, and we'll we'll hope to bring you some more predictions and whatever we can to entertain you fully. So
Yes,
thanks
sir.
for staying.
All right. Peace out, everybody.